He's like a writer from Arizona or something. We later brought, just so you know, we later let him lead the national championship parade through the streets of Tuscaloosa. Will! Because he was the only guy that picked us. Oh, man.
I can see Coach Stallings calling him up.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Hey, Corky Simpson, man. There ain't but one guy believed in you folks. That's great. Because we won ugly all year, you know. We were like a 12 or 14 point underdog in the national championship game.
Yeah.
You know.
The question is, are you picking me to win?
Absolutely, guys. When do y'all ever hear me not pick us to win? Have you ever heard me not pick us to win? If you ever hear me not pick us to win, then y'all need to go on and run me out of here. Listen, I always think we're going to win. Always. Always. I never prepare to lose. Never have. I always prepare to win and think we're going to win. And you know, but you got to go compete and you get it done. You know, if you don't, you learn and grow and get better. Keep going.
You think your starting 5 offensive linemen can go the distance like they did against Auburn in this game?
I mean, we're going to find out. I don't know why they wouldn't. You know, I think we've got a little bit more depth than we had going on. We know a little bit more about our guys than we did in the Auburn game, as far as a couple of the guys that could play. You know, we didn't. You know, Shaq had never played. Shaq's started 2 games now. He's played, and I mean, he's not anywhere near a finished product, but he can definitely is capable of playing for us. Same thing with Kalen. Same thing with Ryan Norton. You know, Kalen didn't play in the first game. Norton didn't play. Now they've played. They've gotten some experience. Kalen has started the last couple games, or has played a lot in the last couple games. Norton's played guard. He's played center. So I think we're, you know, it's only 3 games, but we're in a little different situation than that game. But we're going to go with whoever's getting it done. And, you know, our guys, I think, are prepared to play 80, 90 snaps, whatever it takes. You know, but again, we have not been challenged like these guys are going to challenge us. So we're all going to find out a little bit more about our team Saturday.
You got 8 offensive linemen who played at least 98 plays.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of work in the first 3 games. That's a real blessing to kind of how it's played out with a guy getting dinged here, not hurt bad, but dinged here, and we're able to get some guys some time. So we're a little more confident with the depth as opposed to the Auburn game.
Has Gifford reassumed his spot?
Yeah, he will definitely start.
You go back so far, you know, defending Warner and trying to block him and keep him from being disruptive as he's been?
Well, I mean, you have to put yourself in good position, first of all. You know, watching us last year, you know, Landon did a decent job with him, but, you know, he was a very experienced, knowledgeable player, and he kept himself in position. And that's the first thing you got to do. If you hesitate, if you're late off the ball, if you don't kick properly, you're in trouble with a guy like that. So, you know, that's where it starts. Just really being sound technically and staying in position to execute the block. And then we got to do things to just, you know, keep them out of rhythm. And if it becomes a game where they can just pin their ears back and go get the quarterback, it's probably not been a very good day. But if we can keep them off balance and stay on schedule, make some first downs, then, you know, we're not one-dimensional, and that's real key. We can't be if we're one-dimensional, we'll have a hard time.
They did a lot of kind of sky kickoffs against Wake Forest. Has that been what they've done throughout the year?
They've done both. They've done both, and they might have just been practicing on their kickoff coverage. You know, we tried to do that last week and kept kicking it in the daggum end zone. You know, but we were trying to work on some of that last, because you don't know. You know, sometimes you might miss kick it, and again, it just is kind of a side effect of that rule. You know, that complacency can set in when it's touchback, 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 touchback. Now the one time that you know, mishit it or something, you know, you want to keep everybody on edge. So we tried to work on a little coverage last week, but you know, I don't know if that's why they were doing it or what, but you know, I would think that they would try to kick it out. Otherwise, we got to have a chance to return it, which would be great.
When you look at the way you guys attacked him last year, how important was it that Taj was so accurate on his vertical? I mean, it was like he was just putting it in.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that talking to the team this week. The margin for error is so small. You know, and no offense against Furman or Ball State, but offensively our margin for error was bigger. You know, we could overcome some things. With this bunch here, your margin for error is very small, and your opportunities to make plays aren't as great. So you have to be very accurate with the ball, and when an opportunity presents itself, you have to finish the play. And that was probably the best thing we did last year in that game. When we had opportunities to really finish some plays, we did. You remember Nuke on the big post play last year. You know, we had DA on a nice little touchdown executed play there, a little play action. You know, we hit Sammy over the middle. We finished some really nice. We hit DA on a big seam route late in the game that really created that great field position down at in the fourth quarter. And you know, we took advantage of those opportunities. You have to make those because they're hard to get on a team like this. There's just so much speed and athleticism on the field.
Have y'all watched that game more than you would a normal game a year later, given that so little has changed with them?
We always watch last year's opponent, you know, familiar opponent that we play every year. Now, we didn't watch Auburn very much because it was so different. Now, we had to watch them to get a feel for personnel, was mostly what that was for. But you know, all these people in the conference, unless they have a major change of head coach or something like that, especially when you're playing a team early, you're really going to study last year's game just because, you know, I mean, you're looking at the bowl game, you're looking at your last year's game, all that, because you just don't have enough tape. I mean, you're not going to learn anything from Savannah State and Murray State. You know, they were very vanilla, and rightfully so. And we didn't learn a whole lot from Wake because it was over at the half. So you have to go and study their personnel and the matchups that you're going to have, and all that kind of stuff, and see what's carried over, what's changed from last year to this year, because there's always differences.
How much of the Notre Dame game did you look at being
All
Notre
of
Dame
it.
held?
All of it. Both sides, kicking game, everything.
What did Notre Dame do in that game that kept them down pretty good?
Played great defense. Did a great job on defense. You know, they just stopped the running game. And now Notre Dame's offense didn't do a whole lot. You know, it's the difference in the game there. Florida State was a little better than they were offensively, but you know, they just executed well on defense. Kept them in the game.
Kind of go without saying, Taj is going to have to be able to make plays with his feet. With
Yeah.
Design calls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I mean, it ain't gonna be perfect now. I mean, there's gonna be some lookouts somewhere in the game, and great players. I mean, it don't matter what level. You know, you watch Peyton Manning. There's some lookouts in that game, and great quarterbacks. They get rid of the ball. They anticipate. They step up, and they make plays. I mean, look at their quarterback. Heck, he sacked. He had like 3 guys gobbling him up against Wake Forest. Somehow or another, he breaks free and throws a touchdown pass. I don't know if y'all saw that or not. It's 84. Huge play in the game, early in the game, and so that's what great quarterbacks do. You know, you make something good out of something that ain't good. You know, play breaks down, and he's done that. He's done that this year. But we're definitely going to have him be active with his feet, feel the rush lanes, you know, step up in the pocket, you know, just keep positive yards on our side. That's going to be critical. And then he's got to be a factor. You know, when we ask him to run the ball, you know, in the run game, he's got to be a factor. Got to be productive.
Last year, y'all gave up only 2 sacks to him. Was it more tempo, or just your offensive line blocked pretty well in that game? What was the reason?
A little of both. You know, we ran, I think, 80-something snaps in that game, and I think by the end of the game, the tempo was a little bit of a factor. But you know, we were very, very experienced offensive line last year. I mean, outside of Price, but even though he hadn't played a lot, he was an experienced, tough, you know, just hard-nosed player. And you know, we held up pretty good. But this is a whole different deal this year. You don't have that experience. All them guys are gone. And there's there's no greater teacher than experience, because experience brings a lot of confidence. And we got some guys that are stepping into that environment against a team like this that they haven't seen yet. So we got a lot of guys that didn't play against them last year, and they got a lot of guys back. They're a very veteran defense, bunch of seniors, bunch of juniors, and really talented.
Is it harder to make tempo to your advantage when you're on the road, got to use more time to communicate, and they've got some depth on the D-line that other people don't have?
Not really. Not if we're clicking like we need to be. Our communication's fairly simple, when we're really trying to tempo. So and we signal. So it's not like we don't have to let the outside people know. It's just really that core group in the back, that we got to really verbally communicate things to. But everybody else, they pretty much can see what we got and get lined up and be ready to roll. And we've practiced hard with the noise. The team's done a good job yesterday, done a good job today in handling that. That's going to be a big factor, And the best thing to do is to have early success, But that's easier said than done. But we've prepared hard, and we will do it again tomorrow. That's what I told them after practice. Listen, I don't want to hear anybody come over on the sideline and say can't hear, can't know. There's no excuses. We've practiced. Ain't no way it can be louder than what we've had in practice, and we've purposely done it that way. So hopefully it'll be a little easier in the game.
How many total hours of the war chant have you had to hear?
Oh my gosh! Well, it won't be the first time they've heard it. That's for sure. When they get down there, they'll hopefully by that time be kind of numb to that. Because you can get caught up in that, You get caught up in that. It's got a catchy tune. I remember back in college, Fountain Blue Apartments, number 81, watching my man Sid Bream round third base, going home to win the world, and we're all going, whoa, we're all, so it's a catchy little tune. But that was the Braves. It was the Braves. Surely y'all remember that. Y'all remember that? Yeah. I was like a sophomore or junior in college or something. That was a awesome series.
All said?
Okay. See
I'm a Pirates
y'all
guy, so I
down
wasn't
there.
too happy about that.
Is that who it was? The Pirates?
Yeah, Pirates, yeah. So